Framer has released shaders, and I'm going to show you exactly how I built this with their new shaders features. And shaders obviously opens up a world of creative possibility just because they are so cool. They're powered by the graphics processor. And I'm going to show you this context for a real project that I've been working on for months, my pole training system. And I think this would be an excellent hero section. So I've long maintained that, when it comes to low code, no code tools, the best editor out there by far is Framer. It's so intuitive. It's exactly what I would imagine I would build if I was trying to get away from writing HTML and CSS. And that's the problem they solved for a long time. So now we have shaders. Let me show you how to do this. All right, so I am in a brand new Framer project. I'm gonna go ahead and select the background with this blank canvas, and I'm just gonna make it black. And then we're gonna add another frame. So a frame inside the canvas is actually a frame, thus Framer. And I'm just gonna left click right here, and we are going to change this to the actual parent container. We're gonna give it a layout, and that will give us the ability to then take that frame we just made and make it 100% width right there. And then we'll drag this down, kind of like, around a hero size, kind of just height essentially. And then I'll go ahead and take the color of that. We're gonna go slightly lighter than the background. There we go. Now, the first shader that I'm gonna show you how to integrate is just gonna be a real simple background type of texture shader. It's not going to be very, heavy in terms of performance, but it just kind of gives you like a relevant area, like perhaps like the background of a header or a hero section in this case, kind of just a nice texture, a very subtle animation. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Insert, and then we go to Shaders. Very simple. We come down to the bottom. I'm going to choose this one under Effects, and it says Mesh. Now I'm going to go ahead and just click that, and it throws it off to the side, but you can just throw it over here in the middle. And now if we come over to layers, you'll see it's inside of that frame, which means now, since it's now absolute position, we can still do, I'm going to put 0 up here for the top, 0 on the left, and then make it 100% width, tab over, and then 100% height of the parent container. Okay, so this right here, if I had text on top of it or overlapping it and some other stuff, it would be too much. What we want for this effect is like a watermark effect. Now, all a watermark means in terminology as far as graphic design is concerned and UI design is it's a very low contrast element. This is very high contrast because the background's black, the lines are white. We want them to be slightly lighter than black. Each one of these shaders that you use, if you scroll down here, you're going to see that they all have their individual properties. So each shader is different. It's different capabilities, thus it has different properties, and they are all, you can tie them into interactive functionality and change all that stuff. It's really, really cool. So these you can change all these values, experiment them, the speed, the amplitude, the tilt. We're actually going to use the tilt. I'm going to really slow down that speed because that's just insane. You don't want to disorient people too much. Just a little bit now. But just play around with this. And the biggest thing, if it's going to be a watermark, we're going to take the line color and make it just very barely noticeable. So if I hit play, this is what it will look like in the browser. It just repeats indefinitely, which is one of the really cool things about shader effects as long as you have 100% width. So this is, not overbearing. It's a watermark, subtle animation, not distracting, but just gives it texture. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna lock it, Control L. That way I don't have to, I'm not selecting it by accident. Now, if you start clicking around different areas and you notice that it stops animating any of these shaders, it's simply because you need to select the actual shader in order for it to animate when you're in the editor mode, because otherwise, if you have a bunch of shader effects, it's going to really slow down the browser in your computer. So that's how they set that up. It makes a lot of sense to do it like that. Now, the big core element is the pool table graphic. So I'm going to add a frame inside of here. Just left click right around here. And what I want to do is, this is as well position absolute, which is completely fine. It's absolutely, it's position absolute, but it's based on the parent container itself. So if you put 0, for instance, for the bottom value, it's not going to go to the very bottom of the entire viewport or the web page. It's going to go to the bottom of its parent container. All right, so for this, I actually don't want it to be in the, I don't want it to be, down, that's bound to the bottom. I'm gonna take the parent frame right here, add a layout. Now this mesh effect right here is pushing it down. We need to change that to absolute. All right, and then make sure these values are correct again. So if I try to bring this to the top, we can't see it for some reason in the layer stack, even though we're changing it above this element. So when that happens, you come over to style and you want to choose Z index, and then we're going to make it 1 or a value that is higher than the Z index there. When it comes to absolutely position elements, you can sort them through the Z index property. So for this background fill color, I'm just going to come over here. We're going to change this to an image. I'm going to select the SVG graphic at the pool table, and there it is. All right, this is exactly what I designed. So if we hit play, we can kind of see what this looks like in the context of the app so far. We have some subtle background. Cool already, very cool. Let's go back. And now what I want to do is, for this element, I want to put in a shader that only just kind of stays within the actual playable area where the balls are. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to insert. We're going to go back to shaders. Now these type of shaders, these gradient shaders, are going to be perfect for what I want. I'm just going to use the liquid gradient shader effect and left click, drag that sucker right in there. Now we're going to put this inside of the frame right here. So we can just double click, pull container. Then I want to go ahead and add a layout here on the pool container layer and make sure that it's just centered, and it is. And then we can go ahead and take this and make this fill. So I'm going to make this relative, and it's going to be 100%, but I'm going to take that value down with my keyboard arrow keys. We're going to get it spaced exactly where we want it to be within these the rail lines. Same thing with up here. I'll set it 100% first, and then just reduce. And right there is good. Now this in and of itself looks stupid. Like if I hit play, it doesn't look like it's really seamless, right? It looks dumb in my opinion. So we're going to improve it. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and right click, and we're going to frame it. Yes, add frame. So that wraps a frame inside of it. The frame becomes the parent container of this element. And what that'll allow us to do is we're going to try to more seamlessly integrate this with a absolute position gradient, a radial gradient. So we're going to come over here, and I'm just going to hit F for a frame. And this frame inside is going to be 100% width and height. So I'll just go ahead and put 100%. And then over fill, I'm going to change this to a radial gradient. And then in the center, we're just going to go ahead and take that opacity all the way down. There we go. Now this color right here, we want to match that to the actual table, the color of the pool table, the rail or the flat color specifically. Okay, so now let's go ahead and hit play, and we'll look at the animation. This is actually pretty good, but we have some issues up here. Let's fix that. Now we can also come over here for even more ways to transform this particular effect. Obviously we have a bunch of options down here, but another external way is to go ahead to styles and then choose blending, and you can change the blend mode and experiment with how each one of these changes the look and the behavior. I really like screen, that looks awesome. Plus lighter, color dodge. You can play with all the colors and you're gonna get very interesting, results. I think color is really cool. So I think we'll stick with that. That is really cool here so far. Another way to approach that, by the way, is just to go here and choose mask. And you can actually change this to a radial mask, and it will do a good job if we reverse this right here. There we go. So now we can kind of control it a little bit more. Now, what if we wanted like an interactive shader effect for like a logo that sits in the center when a person hovers over it? I'm going to go to insert, and I'm going to choose right here under shaders. We'll choose this option right here. It's logo. All right. And so the way this works, it's really cool. You can change the image, and the image becomes this shader effect with all these properties that you can control. So if I go over here, I have the symbol right here. Ah, very, very snazzy, is it not? Okay, so now I'm going to drag this over. Now we have to decide where we kind of want this thing. We want it to be absolute. There we go. Now it's on top. We're going to add the blending here. There we go. So we can just experiment with different blend modes. And this one has a lot. You can see that it has multiple, probably about 15 different things that you can adjust about it. So just have fun with it and experiment. Then with the element selected, we can go ahead over here to effects, hover. We will hide the initial value with opacity 0. All right, and there we go. All right, I think we can make this a little bit more interesting with like an intro animation. There we go. All right, I like that timing a little bit better. Now let's add like some interesting type. Ah, look at that. Okay, let's take it further. All right, let's check this out. Ah, okay, that's a little bit too much. All right, and here we go. This could actually be the really cool start of a brand for my upcoming training software that I showed at the beginning. This is really freaking slick. I've always said that the editor from Framer is the best no-code editor when it comes to building front ends. It's just so intuitive and easy to understand. And now with shaders, you have a lot of really cool potential effects. Of course, you want to use them wisely. I'm not really sure I like this hover thing. I'll probably scrap that. I wanted to show different things that you can use it for. But yeah, ultimately, definitely check it out. And I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.